Tonight I'm going to suck your blood! You know, nostalgia is kind of like a haunted house. Sometimes it's the kind of haunted house where the door slams shut behind you and you're stuck replaying the same level again and again and again. Other times it's something that seems warm and inviting, glowing with pumpkin lights and handing out free candy. But when you look a little closer, something is... The first kind of haunting happens like this. You're walking past a creepy door and suddenly it opens. And you hear a voice, a ghostly but familiar sound. Hey, come downstairs. I set up the N64. I've got GoldenEye and 4 controllers and unlimited cheese pizza. This is the first haunting of nostalgia, the trap. The haunted house you move into willingly. It's cozy and familiar, and you never have to leave if you don't want to. Games from the 90s and early 2000s perfected this spell. You convinced yourself that this is peak gaming, peak culture. Why bother with anything else? The WWE Attitude Era is still relevant here. Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 2, and Ocarina of Time are always on repeat. These peak experiences can never be topped, so why bother to even try? We can repeat them over and over and over and over again on a forever flickering but never fading CRT screen. But like any other haunted house, the longer you stay, the less you grow. You keep looping the same hallway over and over and over and over again. And sometimes you even start believing that outside of this house, outside of this basement, there's nothing worth seeing at all. In fact, it'd be better if everyone else just came to you and stayed in this house forever.
Hey, Elise, want to join us?
Room for one more.
This haunting feels safe because it shields us from risk. New experiences might disappoint us. New versions of ourselves might be harder to like. So, the haunted house says, don't change, don't leave. Just keep eating pizza and making jokes about the RCP-90. And honestly, sometimes that sounds amazing. But remember, this trap is like the House of Calypso from the Odyssey. The promise of everything we want ends up binding us to a prison made up of our own tears. What a shame. Reality always comes calling. Hey, here's a quick reminder. If you want to keep exploring the haunted houses of gaming and nostalgia and memory with me, then go ahead and subscribe. I promise, no ghosts are going to follow you home.
Probably.
Then there's the second haunting of nostalgia. The second haunting is different, so follow me here. This one doesn't trap you, but instead, it follows you. In this nostalgia, you aren't trapped in a basement. You are out living your life and doing your thing. Years pass, you've changed jobs and relationships and hairstyles. You blow the dust off your old favorite video game cartridge and you're ready to relive the magic. But instead of being transported back to the past, you're horrified. The game is more jagged and clunky and harder to control than you remember. And you realize it's not the game that's changed, it's you. It turns out that GoldenEye has aged incredibly poorly. The controls are all weird. Aiming is really difficult on it now, and the whole game honestly just feels awful to play. Don't believe me? Go back and play it, especially if you have played any of the Halo games. Your 10-year-old self just didn't have a better comparison at the time. It was kind of the best console shooter we had. Your 10-year-old self also thought tank controls were pretty cool, but, well, it turns out those aren't as good as you remember either. And that's the second haunting of nostalgia. It's not the haunted house that traps you, it's the ghostly mirror that shows you how much you've changed, how much more society has progressed. The cracks in the games remind us of our own cracks, the jagged edges we've smoothed over in our memory, the flaws we've politely ignored, and the parts of ourselves that haven't aged quite as gracefully as we'd hoped. Look at all this. I'm getting older. It's hard to believe. Booting up an old game feels like seeing a picture of yourself from high school. At first you think, wow, like I was so young, look at me. But the longer you look, the more you notice how much you've changed. Was I always that skinny? Was I always that fun? Was I always that outgoing? You also notice the cracks in your past self. Is that the way I used to dress? I chose to wear that, like, of my own free will? I dyed my hair, really? It's the same with games. The memories are flawless, but the reality, that's rough around the edges, at best. This haunting's a lot harder because it forces us to look clearly into the light of day. It won't let us hide in the cozy shadows of a haunted house's basement. It says,
"You've changed. You're not the same person anymore."
and confronting that stings. Both hauntings are incredibly real, and something so many of us run into. Me as well. Sometimes nostalgia comforts us so much that we never want to leave, so we don't. Sometimes it startles us with how much everything else has changed, except for us. If you find yourself stuck in that haunted house somewhere, I want to remind you that it's okay to need that safety for a little while, and it's okay to linger for a little bit. If you've come back to your old games and start seeing the cracks, maybe it's not such a horrible curse. Maybe it's proof that you've grown, that you're not just repeating levels anymore. You're moving forward and getting a better frame of reference. So this Halloween, when nostalgia comes knocking like a K-pop demon hunter clad trick-or-treater, don't be afraid to answer the door. Just make sure you check the candy before you start feasting. Happy Halloween, everyone. If this haunted nostalgia resonates with you, you might like my other essays about nostalgia. I'm going to link one here. I think that's how it works. Here we go. Here. I'll hold it here. Hold it here. You should click on that if you're really interested. It's another chance to see what our memories keep and what they leave behind. I think this is a really useful and healthy practice. As usual, also don't forget to like and subscribe if you're digging this kind of thing. I want to make more content. I want to see what people are really resonating with. I think it's good. I want to remind you that this is a video reminder for myself, and I'm not here to throw shade at anyone. I'm just connecting my experiences to what I think everyone else is experiencing, and to offer that same level of kindness that we need. We all need it. Thanks.